Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this stream. It's quite an interesting evening. It's quite an interesting day. The things are playing out as I predicted. Um, this evening, I'm going to be discussing Akpabio versus Natasha confusion in the Nigerian Senate. And in Abuja, in the early hours of today, in the morning stroke mid-noon, protesters clashed in Abuja. The funny thing, like I said on Sunday, is that most of them didn't even know the reason why they were protesting. Recall that, or no, not on Saturday, recall that I joined Dr. Damage's stream. And I asked, when he asked me a question, I said to him, I predict that by Monday. So I didn't know whether the Senate will sit on Monday, but I said I predict by Monday or by next week, the protest is going to happen in Abuja. And it's becoming very apparent now who may be behind this project. The way things are happening now, I am beginning to think that, guys, calm down. This may be beyond just what we are looking at. I will explain. When I get to the point of getting the photos, or rather, when I get to the point of getting those who are protesting, you begin to appreciate what I mean. You begin to see some colorations with that protest. But as Nigerians, obviously, I said it and I maintain it. Two things that I predicted that I also believe nothing is gonna, is one, there is nothing that will come out of this protest. There is nothing that will come out of Natasha Akpabio Barakboism. Aside analysis, conversations, this, that, nothing, absolutely. And I said I was willing to bet. Two, that by this week, we will begin to see protests. But, when you understand Nigeria, understand how things work, you can actually predict things like a native doctor. And no wonder native doctors actually thrive in Nigeria because these things are common sense. You know, the only thing is that there are people, as we speak, in Abuja cashing out money from both sides. Akpabio needs people to come and protest to say the Senate president must stay and nothing should happen to him. It could be mobilized from from the wife. It could be a mobilization from his friends. They are going to pay money on this hand. On the other hand, these are anti-Akpabio people, people who do not like him, people who don't want him to remain as the Senate president. They're going to say, guys, 1, 2, 3, 400, 200, 300, 500 of you, come, let's mobilize you, come and pay, come and protest. In doing that, again, is that protest in Nigeria. I call it the protest Nigeriana. However, to backtrack and start this narrative and conversation properly, let us actually look at what transpired today in the Senate. Know that Natasha actually um, worked in the Senate with husband, right? Today, Natasha didn't join the Senate alone. She came in with the husband. At some point, I actually said to someone, it felt like a wedding. When she walked in, this is what I said. Was she coming for another wedding, or what was it? But just this is how she arrived the Senate today. You can see the husband on the right, the one on River's cap. So That's see, you can see them kissing goodbye, and she walks in the Senate, right? And with the title Senator Natasha, husband arrived Senate as she assumes her new seat. Now she's been given a new seat. You know, watching that, I jokingly made this morning in a, this looks like someone attending a wedding ceremony. Pardon me, but that's the way it looks, right? That's fine, and she's moving in to go take her seat. Now you will see her new
Come
seat.
on now.
That's why I didn't understand the whole fight because every senator has their name tag and their seat. So the issue I'm hearing was a little bit confusing, including myself, on why making an issue out of the whole thing have been issue. Anyway, that's by the way. So when the camera zooms, you're going to see Cookie, Natasha, right? So that you can see that's her name there in that seat. Okay. Now she came in, she settled down, and the plenary began. At some point, she had to hold on. At some point, she had to make remarks, and that set a lot of things off. Let's take these here because this, when I think, to be honest with you, I think there must be something that is happening that made her to insist in going on this route. Something is honestly happening. We'll get to that. Just stay tuned with us. Here you will see Senator Natasha in this case now trying to make her case. And the Senate president was playing it very, very calm and collected because he does not want to be accused of anything. Just listen.
That your denial, your refusal to accept and treat my petition before the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Abuse of my privileges, and I say forth, that this matter is not sub judice, it is not before the court. The matter before the court
is Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law. Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law. Before I rule, I would like to hear the opinion of Senator Natasha Bragan regarding the rules.
Thank you very much, Senate President. Again, I'm Senator Natasha Akpabio, I represent the good and virtuous people of Kogi Central. I beg to differ that this matter is sub judice. And I stand on privilege 10, other 10 minutes.
No, sorry.
Okay, before the argument that ensued, for clarity here, the senator Natasha, her argument is that she want to posit a what's the best word? She wants to make an official complaint and call for investigation within the Senate, right? And the Senate president is saying, no, this matter is is sub judice because it's in court. And she comes back to say, no, what is in court is not the matter between you and I. What is in court is that your aide called me, quote unquote, OH, in that case. So that is what is in court. Now, eventually, other senators intervened, You can see where things are going because we'll have a lot of video to play this evening. You guys will see that it appears this matter has already been decided. Just pay attention.
Dear Senate President, please, with due respect, do you mind? I have raised an order 10 privileges, sir, please. It's my right, Senate President. Order 10 on privileges, please. I believe, and please, would you, Senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he or she shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that the contempt of breach of privilege has been committed. I stand and I believe herefore, sir, that your denial, your refusal to accept and treat my petition before the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Abuse of my privileges, and I say forth, that this matter is not so, it is not before the court. The matter before the court is on the defamation and cyberbullying statements made by your special assistant on new media, Mr. Patrick Umfom, who addressed my decent outfits as transparent, thereby depicting that I walk sedulously and naked to the chambers. That is the nature of the petition, of the case in court. This petition, sir, has never been filed. The petition that alleges, or should I say, accuses you of making sexual harassment moves, abusing your office, and making malicious obstructions to my legislative functions, has not been tendered anywhere before, no court in Nigeria. So, sir, I would appreciate if you kindly accept my petition and forward same to the Ethics and Privileges Committee so it could be treated. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Now, at this point, she has already given Akpabio one blow. At this point is 1-0. Akpabio is sitting down there thinking. If you know Akpabio is a very jovial human being, an individual who jokes a lot. But if you look at his demeanor now that this has been pushed in his face, the guy not a smile. But even at that, the conversation gets interesting. Akpabio doesn't know how to deal with it at this point in time. For him, he's going to say the next thing. If you pay attention, he's going to call someone to come and rescue him. Just have a listen.
So first, let's finish with Senator Bangunu. You're the chief whip of the Senate.
Looking to upgrade your...
So, okay. We're going to continue on that quickly. Just bear with us on that. Anyway, so Akpabio is going to call another senator to come and speak on this matter. He is basically trying to behave as if, okay, I'm not going to speak on this. Let other people basically speak on this matter, and that's what we'll be witnessing now. Quickly, Akpabio, continue.
Order is sustained.
Your point of order is sustained.
Mr. President, you know, some of us who are elderly in this chamber will have to come out for posterity.
Sorry, let me push this here. I think this concept of elderly, I think, you know, Nigerian politicians should do away with it. We must age in most cases is, you know, for such offices is irrelevant. Yes, you might talk about experience based on number of legislative, you know, years you have garnered. But this issue of age is irritating sometimes, just like the other time, Ireti Kingibe referred to Natasha as she could be my daughter. Of course, I know how many people that could be the age of my kids, but I still address them respectfully, not necessarily addressing them like kids. So, but that's on a side note. You know, senators, take note, stop addressing this, making the issue of age, an issue.
This matter is already in court from both sides. And there have been a ruling of an injunction which restrained the Senate from interfering in this matter. I saw it today. The issue of this particular petition, you have already ruled and put the gavel down. Therefore, the observance of the rules of the Senate, Section 47 and the other sections that have been quoted by my learned brother there, should be the responsibility of that committee. So close the matter, hand over to the committee, then the committee will be privileged to look into the rules and then take whatever decision is appropriate under our rules. So there is no need to extend this issue. It will be more damaging to this institution and to us.
Leader, your point of order is sustained. Distinguished colleagues, no, let me come. The Senate actually referred her matter, not because I was not aware of the provisions of the rule, I was, but it's because when people are watching from outside, they may not know that we are guided by, I will call it laws, allowed by the Nigerian Constitution for us to make. I sustain your point of order. I've also sustained that of the observation of the former leader of the Nigerian Senate, distinguished Senator Abdullahi. So, Senate Leader, please. Senate Leader. I will take all points of order. I will take all. Everybody must be given a right to speak, but not on this matter. Huh?
Let's move.
Interestingly, at this point, Akpabio says everybody must be given the right to speak. It appears that most of the Senate, as these things evolve, are beginning to look the side of Akpabio. Pay attention.
Whether I like it or not, you are the next person I'm calling. Because we are, no, please, Senate Leader, can we proceed with our day's proceedings? Senate Leader, can we proceed with our day's sitting?
Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues, unfortunately, I am not sure.
Recall that the person now speaking is the Senate leader, Senator Bamidele, right? What he will now say, because you see, Akpabio had yielded his own point of, his own speech now to him. He didn't raise up his hand too, but he can, in my view, I think there are some sort of choreography that's gone on here. Akpabio doesn't want to say certain things with his mouth. Someone must say it on his behalf. Take a listen.
Any of us had ever envisaged that a day like this will come in the life of the 10th Senate, but it has come. And we still have to do what we have to do in overriding public interest. Because it's not about the single Senator Natasha and the Senate President. It's about the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I urge all our colleagues to note two things. One, Order 40, sub 4, says no senator bringing a petition shall be the author. The essence of this rule is to allow us as elected representatives of the people, senators, to present and lay petitions on behalf of our constituents. The alternative to that is the matter of privilege, Order 10. That's what we can do. Not to bring a petition. Mr. President, I sympathize with you. As a man being accused of sex.
Okay, so this is what Bamidele is saying, and this, in his own case now, he's saying that according to their rule, no senator should bring anything to the Senate by him or herself. They are there to represent the people, so they will take our cries, but not theirs there. Don't worry, we'll come back to that. Let me quickly move to those that were protesting. These are people saying Akpabio must go. I'm not going to say anything here, but I want you take your Nigerian eye, look these people saying Akpabio must go. See, these are people saying I stand with Natasha. Akpabio must go. Okay, do you see anything? Akpabio must go. Akpabio must go is the talk. Akpabio must go. And this is where politics comes in the whole parapoise, in the whole discourse. This is where real politics comes in. It appears there are individuals who are trying to milk this fight between Senator Akpabio, or rather between Senator Natasha and Senate President Akpabio. Who could those individuals be? What would have been their benefit? Why did Nigerians, okay, or rather, who mobilized Nigerians to go and protest and pay them money too? I said this without equivocation. The people were paid to go and protest. But before I show you my evidence that these people were paid, both sides, let's actually have a listen to this.
That the petition she presented today is actually dead on arrival. And I say that because it runs contrary to Order 40, subsection 4, that no senator may present to the Senate a petition signed by him or herself. And that petition, having been signed by her, will not be entertained by this committee. And so, ladies and gentlemen, she's not here. Now I can understand why she's not here. She's probably not here on the order of her lawyers. That being the case, the committee will sit and will deliberate on what we've gotten from distinguished senators that have presented their cases before us and the Senator at Arms, and based on our rule books and all other documents that is available to us, to make a decision here and then make a referral to the full Senate.
Okay, now Natasha made this reference, made this referral to the Senate Committee on Ethics. You can see the Senate Committee on Ethics already dismissed that, saying the same thing that the Senate President actually explained, that no senator can bring a petition about herself by herself. They will not entertain it. If we take emotion out of this, whether you are support Natasha, whether you are against Akpabio, but the question is, what does the book say? It appears that the book is right on this. Many have started questioning, Natasha, why are you actually driving this to what end? Well, we will try to find out to what end. Let's probably go back to and see those who, those who are, because like I said, there are four There are people who are for, and there are people who are against, right? People, the whole thing is, I wouldn't say it's getting convoluted, but it's getting interesting by day. Permit me to say that the whole conversation is getting interesting by day. Now, take a listen to this.
Nigerian people have come out to state clearly that what happened on the floor of the Senate is unacceptable. It is a deliberate attempt to shut the Nigerian woman out of the political space. I mean, it's shameful enough that we have only 4 women in the Senate. And the one who we see as the most vocal, the one with records of work and achievements for her people, is the same person who is faced with this situation. It's terrible that if a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria would come out to say she's been sexually harassed, and people are trying to downplay it, people are trying to water down the conversation. This is not about party. This is not about, it's not a gender war. This is a human rights issue. It's a national issue. It's a national embarrassment for Nigeria. Who has not followed Natasha's story? From when she started, when she was in the SDP, the humiliation, the name calling, then she wasn't married, and then she got married and dared to contest. We saw what happened in Kogi State. We saw how the roads leading to her place was peeled off because they didn't want people to access. This woman is a fighter. I stand here today to say shame on all the women who have come out to downplay this woman's voice. Shame on all the women who have come to try to shut this woman up. We thought you people were mothers. How can you be doing this? It means that there is a culture of silence that is in the political space. There's a culture of fear. There's a culture of intimidation. How can a mother come out and tell me that the Senate is not meant for children? It is meant for the elderly. What kind of message are you passing to us? And Natasha is not her child. Natasha is a Nigerian woman who knows her onions, who is working and has the right to speak. In doing this, we call for an independent investigation. And while it is going on, sir, please let the Senate President step aside so that they can allow a proper investigation to be conducted.
Now, if you go to the camp of Akpabio, if you go to the camp of Senator Akpabio, one thing that scares them is the last statement that this woman made. Let the Senate President step aside and let investigation take place. That is what is scaring them. Now, the question, and they wouldn't blame Akpabio because it appears that there is an orchestrated plan for that to happen. And in Akpabio's camp, they believe that if that happens, if they allow that to happen, hence they mobilize the people that they mobilize today, that if they allow that to happen, that they might do some mago, that he will lose that seat. Again, there are still other views. For many of you who are not yet subscribed to this platform, please, I beg you, please click on the like button, share, invite others, and let's have this conversation. Share, like, and subscribe. So, Sean, over to you.
Okay, just for a moment. Engineer Stella Okengu is live with us. She's the CEO of Win Homes. She's live for us virtually. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. And let me allow you to speak briefly, quickly, before we go on a break about this matter. What happened today, Ms. Okengu? What are your views of what happened today?
What happened today is repugnant. That is how I'm going to describe it. Because it seems as if our Senate ganged up against Natasha. What, in my own advice to the Senate President, I think that for the fact that Natasha said that accused him of any sexual allegation, what he's supposed to do is to recuse himself, stand aside, so that this case, she said she has the proof. They should allow her to bring out the proof. I remember when Dino Maleye and the wife of the president's case, that Dino said, I can impregnate you. That's sexualizing. What's Nigeria turning into? What's Nigeria turning into? In America, if you check, 95% of women in Nigeria has gone through this abuse. And most of them cannot talk, because if they talk, how are they going to listen to them? How will you know that somebody will want to abuse you sexually? Some people will tell you, bring evidence. What evidence? When a man will meet you, and except if it's planned, in a same country that we are in, what we expect is for the Senate president to step aside and allow this investigation to go on. Nobody is above the law, Sheung. You're a lawyer. And Mr. Yemi is the Senate Speaker. Honorable Yemi.
Thank you, my sister.
Imagine that if this is your wife and this is happening, what are you going to say? Won't you step aside? Won't you advise that person in question to step aside? Apart from being an engineer or I have business in Nigeria, I'm a juror in United States.
Okay, this is the much she said. In this case, she is clearly in support of Natasha. Now, sorry, at this point, permit me to laugh a little bit, because the next phase is where the part of comic relief comes in. We have individuals who, how do I put that? They did the following. Let's just put it this way.
I am supporting Akpabio because he's a Senate president. Number two, he's somebody's husband. He's not looking at Natasha. Natasha is just a senator. He doesn't have time with Natasha. Natasha should free Akpabio. Akpabio is somebody's father. He's a grandfather. He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's son. Natasha should face her husband and leave Akpabio alone. A man is free to look at a woman. That is the end. He should stop blackmailing Akpabio. Akpabio is Akpabio. He should stop it. You know what they investigate? Investigate what? Did you miss Akpabio with Natasha in the bed? You don't need Akpabio talking to Natasha by the roadside. You don't need Akpabio talking to Natasha that I love
you. Nigeria is a funny place. At this point, Akpabio has supporters, and his supporters came out to say, no, you can't do anything to our man. On the other side, some people were paid and they do not understand their brief. Maybe somebody did not explain to them very well. Just have a listen.
He's a good man.
So you want him to win the position? Yes. He's already Senate president.
Now, Akpabio is a good man. They want him to win the position. She says, Nigeria, I'm not a good person for this app, I tell you. If you remember that famous interview I conducted with Niger Delta militants when I went over to them during the electoral tribunal, and they were telling me something else, that they're here to have fun, meaning they don't even know the reason why they were brought to Abuja early hours, or as early as 7 o'clock. They were already drunk and beating their drum, obviously mobilized by Asari Dokubo. But here, whoever got this contract has really hammered. Just take a listen.
He's a good man.
So you want him to win the position? Yes. He's already Senate president.
Okay.
But why are you supporting Senator Natasha?
No.
Why?
No, I know one fact.
You don't want I was.
You don't do that.
Not do me anything, but I don't want. Because there are people say them, then the stubborn people. So we don't need stubborn people. We want peace. We don't need stubborn people. That is.
Sorry, Nigeria, I saw the thing they take start. Oh, I'm going to make another prediction. You know, I predicted by this week you will see protest, and it's already happening. If this continues by next week, we are laughing now. If this continues by next week, you may likely see that this protest turns ethnic. Write it down. The two men, both Udwanga and Akpabio, are friends. Both of them Niger Delta. The wife is from Kogi, North Central. I pray and I wish that this conversation will remain on the, a sphere of law and order, accusation and counter-accusation. But by some of the things I have noticed that crept into this protest today, there appears to be some ethnic coloration that, if you are paying attention enough, I'm saying this, may be more visible in the coming days. Again, they may be more visible in the coming days. You can see that people are now saying, oh, come on, Natasha did this, Natasha did not do the other one. And Natasha herself, because the senator then, said, you do not have locals here, we're not going to listen to this case. For those of you who joined late, maybe for that benefit, may we quickly play you that part once more so that you hear her make her point. And I give it to her. She made her point quite eloquently. She is. And but it's not about hearsay. It's a case of,
President,
what does the law say?
Natasha, and I stand to raise a petition under Order 40. A petition may only be presented to the Senate by a senator who shall affix his or her name at the beginning thereof. The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition. Thank you.
You may proceed. Colleagues, this petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct, Ethics, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable.
Man, this thing get Akpabio. Akpabio that used to joke a lot. Look at him. He was almost, you can see, he was almost stammering, actually. The thing really got him. Now, like I said, it is a protest of for and against. Now, watch this protest. You see, where I say this, people, pay attention. This protest might, I'm not saying this protest might turn ethnic. Pay attention.
Natasha, Akpabio, leave Natasha alone. Yes, sir. Akpabio, leave Natasha alone.
We stand with Natasha. We stand with Natasha.
Akpabio, stop oppressing other senators. Akpabio, stop oppressing your fellow senators. As they elect you,
Yes.
as they elect them.
Yes.
Akpabio,
Yes.
as they elect you, as they elect.
See my flag boy. See my flag boy. Don't enter street. Oh dear.
We are saying no to oppression in the National Assembly. We are saying no to oppression in the National Assembly. We are saying no to Natasha,
Akpabio must go is ranting the air, and I believe you tonight. Akpabio will definitely not sleep. He will spend so much time on the telephone trying to mobilize the senators and people. And at this point, as usual, I promise you that a lot of people would have made a lot of money, and a lot of people will make a lot of money, because this is time that solidarity, anybody showing solidarity to him is not for free, and he's going to pay for it.
Hello, Vivian. How are you? This morning, we are here to channel the channel to influence for air on grievances to all the Senate presidents. Those in Akpabio, he has been a bad boy. Why do I say so? The president need to cognizance the actions and inaction of Akpabio. The country is going to what to call the structural system. If Akpabio is not careful, he will be able to bring revolution to this country. He's not becoming a Senate president. He's not becoming a Senate president. Akpabio must go. 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 Akpabio must go.
The protesting we are not here to fight. We are here to maintain peace. We want our sister, our daughter, our elder sister to be here, to be doing work for us at the COVID Central. Because it's our eye. She's the one watching this place for us. So we want her to still remain here. We don't want her to go away from this place. That is why we are here. We need her to remain.
So she's doing very well.
Yes, she's doing very well. She's stood by us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let me try to get it. Akpabio must go.
Why you don't find like Natasha now?
So the protest, obviously, we've been looking at Abuja, but the protest went beyond Abuja, Nigeria, and a cruise. Honestly, sometimes when I see these things, it just make me, it makes you really talk. So while people are in Abuja saying Akpabio must go, the people of Akwa are also saying do not. They are telling her.
It's a gold. It's a precious stone to Akwa. It's a precious stone to the women of Niger Delta. So we are telling her that should stop insulting our son. The women said that should be the first and the last for her harassing our son in a way which is not good. And the women of Akwa said we don't want that any longer.
Now, we watched the protest at some point. It appears someone. At some point, it appears that the protest took a mild dramatic turn, right? A mild dramatic turn. So I hope that the protest, if they're going to continue tomorrow, that they stay on this trajectory. Because at some point, the Nigerian police tried using violence to disperse the protesters, and the tear gas was thrown, and there was confusion everywhere. I'm still trying to get that picture of the tear gas. I think there was a rise that captured it very well, where they threw tear gas to the protesting public, and people had to. Now, the protest also was on multiple planks, right? If you take a look on another plank, part of Abuja, or rather, not necessarily at the another part, I think close to Unity Fountain, you can now see another set of people protesting.
That's why I'm not.
So you see what I mean? Because in Nigeria, a peaceful protest would not have ended if you do not see tear gas, if you do not see smoke. I am glad that no one lost their life, because normally it's usually in Nigeria, people come out to protest. The next thing you hear that the police fires gun, and someone eventually loses his or her life. Thank God that didn't happen. And if they will continue the protest, please, no life should be lost. I believe what Akpabio will be doing, and I can't mince word on this. I know for sure that tonight he will be doing everything possible to mobilize that tomorrow this will be diffused, because he is scared. Because remember, when Natasha accused him the first time, according to Natasha, he called her and made entries that, I think that was before Nigerians had that end bad governance protest. And he said that he had intel that he was the most hated politician in Nigeria, because one, he's seen as a rubber stamper. Two, obviously, by the virtue of the fact that the moment they came in, they bought that 96 million naira SUV, made a lot of Nigerians angry about him. So he knows that as well. Hence, anything that happens, sadly, he will be extorted. For people who are going to be speaking for now, you will be extorted. No one is going to defend him for free, and you have seen it. Now, maybe the police is coming in to disperse.
I'm not sure they are stopping them from protesting. No, the police such that. have the video now. I must have the video now.
See, no be there, not here, guys. Wait, there's somebody told that here. I saw the person.
You can see that now. These are now up there. Trying to discuss.
Scatter them.
Okay, so if we try to go back now to the to the hearing, obviously you will see a case where the committee were really pissed off and angry with Natasha. They were. Just take a listen. And besides, for a pointer here, they went straight on to advocate for 6 months suspension.
Assembly of the Federal Republic, National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Like Mr. Chairman has stated, I, as the debate maker of the Senate, was seriously moved and quite discomfited with the state of the odious reputation that the Senate is degenerating into, and the public opprobrium that is being generated by the behavior of one of us. And plenary on February 20, 2025. And as the debate maker of the Senate, I started receiving a lot of calls, both locally, nationally, and internationally, and even exponentially from even members of my own family, that what is happening in the Senate. It became quite very difficult for me to even address the deluge of those demands that I have to talk and tell the public what really happened. And on that said day, February 28th, Thursday, 2025, I said it in the plenary chamber of that day. That was almost a breakdown of law and order in the chamber. That there was almost a kind of legislative topsy-turvy. Because one of us, Senator Natasha, was vehemently opposing the directive that has been changed to somewhere else within the chambers. And she was duly informed by the sergeant at her that she did not go to that assigned seat. And when we go by our orders, because like I said on the floor of the Senate, when I was moving the said motion, that we have our standing orders, which are our rules, our statutes. It's our internal constitution. Because we are empowered by the various sections of the constitution, that is the National Assembly, to make our own rules that will guide us. Since we are not barbarians, since it is not an animal farm. And even in an animal farm, there is a modicum of decency and decorum. The standing orders clearly stated how, where, when, why the senator will behave in chambers, even those outside the chambers too, because it stimulated our actions at the committee levels and then oversight functions. and going by by order 6 of that our standing rules, which are our orders, whereby it was expressly stated, statutorily stated, vividly stated, exponentially stated, that the Senate President is the only consenting authority that can allocate seats for senators. And the following section stated that the senator can only speak when he or she is properly seated on the seat allocated to him or her. Meaning that does not mean that wherever you are in the Senate chamber, that you can raise up your hand to be recognized to speak. If it is like that.
Okay, I mean the part that he says it's basically what we know or know before. What led to this, but the still, there is this part of which is quite funny, that on issues like this, you definitely see Nigerians, divided across board, those for and those against. And before I wrap up this evening, if you wish to have any, if you wish to make any point, you could join. To just click on the link shared and pinned on this stream, and that will bring you directly into the virtual studio. You could be part of this. Now, to just wrap this up, we'll basically now take one more look at those who are supporting their son. I call this the sonship politics. It is our son, no. He is our son, no. Let nothing happen to him. When a politician is misbehaving sometimes in Nigeria, quite interesting is that the people, his own immediate people and family, are the ones to come out to defend. He is our son. Leave him for us, like that. It brings me to the point where a friend made a statement that really, after the election, he said something that jokingly, but if you think about it deeper, it's really concerning. He says, why do you want to bother giving Nigerian your best or sending your best in the midst of thieves if your best cannot go still? Do whatever the others do. So why don't you begin to think like other Nigerians and send in your worst, send in your cucumbers and your carrot? Wow. No one is called cucumber, no one is called carrot here. It's only an analogy of a friend. And think about it. Why must Nigerians always defend their oppressors? Is it because of the mere token that they are given that will now make them do that? Before I call it a day, unless you're joining to make your contributions, permit me to take, in order not to be one-sided, a lot of people here have said, a lot of videos that we played said, Akpabio should go. And that Akpabio must go is giving Akpabio sleepless night. My prediction is likely to get worse tomorrow morning if certain strings are not pulled tonight. It's likely to get worse tomorrow. Again, for fair, or rather for fairness here, it's also fair that one plays also the other side, showing that there are also people who support Akpabio. Not everybody is against. So honor your husband. Leave our Akpabio alone for us. That is the politics of our son.
Natasha, go and apologize to Council Akpabio. Natasha! We never agree! This is too much! We never agree! Our son is so important to us. Yes. If she always disrespect her husband, we should not disrespect our son. Yes. Because our son is the one God of anointed down for the Our son is so important to us. Yes. So we're out there demonstrating, telling Natasha to leave our son alone. Yes. Enough of all this mess. Amen. We are telling her that whenever she tries again, the women will go on their knees and they will pray and the heaven will arise against her. We should stop messing our son. Our son was well in the ways of the Lord. He does not fight, he does not beat women, he does not disrespect women.
Heaven has really suffered. Heaven has no job. It's waiting for them to go on their knees and untie their wrappers so that they can pray. And heaven, so that heaven can go after Natasha. If I call my brother from Niger Delta, in fact, even if I ask Tinubu, what you talk? This one self passive. Tinubu no fit talk anything. My brother from Niger Delta, waiting you talk.
Before I go on, let me postulate from the Franz Fanonian dictum.
Oga, please drink pure water. Don't postulate. They are saying they will kneel down. You are talking about postulation. Maybe an APC member can help us because if they can help us and show us, maybe they can equivocate. If they can, then you will know that matter.
Today, I want to declare without equivocation.
Oh, dear. I thought we can equivocate. But since we cannot, Asari, what said?
Mumu not too much. You be mumu. You think say they wise. You are a mumu man.
Well, in the words of Asari Dokubo, those who were protesting, I didn't call anyone mumu, but Asari, on your note, I say good night, everyone. Thank you. Share, like, and subscribe. Good night from my side.
La 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 la.